Who's ready for some more of the strangest that cinema has to offer? I know I am. There's something beautiful about a supremely weird horror movie, something that any supposedly normal flick could never aspire to. If you're watching one and you audibly say, "What the f***," you know it was a good choice. From the hare-brained to the covered in brains, there's lots to appreciate in odd horror movies. These are the flicks that take risks, try out previously unheard of ideas, and do the most to conform the least. A remedy for the ever-expanding canon of movies that look and sound exactly like other movies, and boy do we ever need a high dose. Many folks will say a movie's weird as if it's a bad thing, but we know better than that, right? It's a bloodstain of honor, an amputation scar of triumph. If it's weird, that means it hasn't been done before, and new ideas are fun ideas. Hello horror heads, and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host, Keegan Hughes, and today we're taking a look at the top 5 weirdest horror movies of all time. Part 8. Grab your rubber gloves and maybe light a few scented candles because things are about to get gross. Before we begin, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more weird, wonderful wickedness. Outstanding. Let's get going. Kicking us off at number 5, we've got The Voices. Whenever you see Ryan Reynolds attached to a project, you know it's going to be a little more tongue-in-cheek than your average fare. Deadpool, Detective Pikachu, Green Lantern. Ha 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 ha. But The Voices may be the weirdest of all of them. We follow good old schizophrenic Jerry as he works at the bathtub factory and refuses to take his meds. Even without medication, he's a strangely upbeat person, hopping into his pink jumpsuit and joining in on conga lines. However, the drugless life he leads means that he has a tenuous grip on reality, spending most of his free time chatting with his two pets, a dog named Bosco and a cat named Mr. Whiskers. These cuddly pals serve as Jerry's ad hoc conscience, with Bosco being the friendly voice of reason on one shoulder and Mr. Whiskers being the bad evil influence, constantly trying to bring Jerry down. This is entirely accurate, as dogs are pure goodness and light while cats tend to be maniacs. So one night, Jerry finds the woman he has a crush on stranded by the side of the road. He picks dear Fiona up and on the ride home accidentally hits a deer. Hallucinating that the deer is speaking to him, he heads over and mercy kills it, sending Fiona into a panic. One thing leads to another, and Jerry falls on her with a knife. Ouchie. Bosco encourages Jerry to own up and go to the police, while Mr. Whiskers says he should just hide the body. Guess who he listens to? Yep, the cat. So Fiona's body ends up in tiny Tupperware pieces, and her head gets a lovely spot in the fridge. And Jerry starts to hallucinate that the disembodied head is talking to him, and they're friends, and it's wonderful. It's a supportive relationship. And if he starts taking his meds again, the head in his fridge is just a rotting skull, and his apartment is just gonna be full of cat and dog crap. Bad deal. The Voices is odd in its portrayal of a very ill, very tragic individual as a really likable, mostly well-meaning dude. He obviously needs help, but it's also fun to watch his life through his rose-tinted, non-medicated goggles. And getting advice from your pets is something we've all considered doing before. Also, there's a 4-minute Jesus-inspired song and dance during the credits. A good time overall. Coming in at number 4, we've got One Cut of the Dead. On an initial viewing, One Cut of the Dead isn't that weird. It's a one-take zombie movie. Technically impressive, sure. Slow and meandering sometimes, yeah, but they're doing 40-odd minutes of action in one take. Of course some things will go wrong. Some of the choices seem, well, a little bit idiosyncratic, but it all comes together in the end. Much to think about, much to analyze. But wait, what's this? There's more to see after the credits. Oh yeah, it goes way deeper than one would expect. A twist that isn't really a twist reveals all sorts of new information about the in-film universe, and it reaches a whole new level of meta fun. If you like zombie movies or movies about making movies, I can highly recommend this one. The path it takes is hilariously unexpected, switching back and forth between zany oddball comedy and touching family drama. I don't want to get too deep into it because it's best to watch this flick without knowing too much. Go in cold and come out heart-warmed. Coming in at number 3, I Drink Your Blood. If you want to see the very essence of this movie boiled down into a couple minutes, go watch the trailer for the Grindhouse re-release. No pretense, no false advertising, this trailer lets you know exactly what you're getting from this 70s exploitation classic. I Drink Your Blood. Legendary stuff. This is a movie about rabies-fueled revenge on a satanic cult led by a Manson type. Hell yeah. Very early on, we get the incredible line, "Let it be known, sons and daughters, that Satan was an acid head." Absolutely poetic. Following the assault of a lovely local lass by the cult, her younger brother sets out for revenge. With shotgun in hand, he marches up to the cult's hideout, only to come across a rabid dog. This chance encounter births a brand new plot in his noggin: poison them. So he injects rabies-infected dog blood into meat pies and sells them to the cult. This, of course, begins a town-wide rabies epidemic. I Drink Your Blood was the first ever movie to receive an X rating for violence instead of nudity, and boy, does it get violent. We got marshmallow-mouthed rabies people, intestine removals, death by sword in small-town New York, papier-mâché decapitations, and more. Unfortunately, at no point does anyone drink blood. Rude. Coming in at number 2, we've got Jack Frost. It's hard to imagine a cheesier, schlockier Christmas movie. Here's the premise. Prolific serial killer Jack Frost is being transported through the town of Snowminton to his execution, but the truck crashes into a vehicle carrying some sort of vague genetic mutation chemical. You know, the classic long-haul trucker cargo. So Jack's body is melted down by the chemical and fuses with the freshly fallen snow beneath his feet, causing him to come back to life as a killer snowman. Seems about right, the science checks out. Once Jack becomes a snowman, all rules out the window. He can melt, reform, change shape, really do whatever he wants. He decapitates a young man via sled with very little effort, freezes an old man to death, breaks into a warm house without melting, and dresses a woman like a Christmas tree. At one point, he melts into bath water, waits for a woman to hop in the bath, and then kills her by refreezing and reforming. All this while cracking terrible jokes, like dad puns on another level. After killing a man with an axe, we're treated to, "Gosh, I only axed you for a smoke." There should be laws against things like this. When all seems lost, the town bands together to force Jack into a furnace through a coordinated hairdryer assault. Plus, there's some antifreeze oatmeal that comes up later in a bizarre twist of fate, but I won't say exactly how. It's just a lot of really weird ideas crammed into a hilariously joyful Christmas catastrophe. What's not to love about wisecracking snowmen murderizing the ridiculous populace of a fictional small town? And finally, number 1, Tetsuo The Iron Man. I'm gonna be real with you guys. Nothing on this list comes close to the weirdness of Tetsuo, not even a little bit. Like, there's not a single moment of normalcy in this movie. It's totally unlike anything you've ever watched, unless you've watched it and the sequels. We have technological anxiety, we have urban sprawl embodied, we have Cronenbergian, Lynchian body horror, we have a drill penis. Our story begins with an unfortunate hit and run. The victim is a metal fetishist who then curses the culprit. We then follow an average everyday Japanese salaryman as he slowly undergoes a metamorphosis of sorts. A metalmorphosis of those of you who appreciate a little horror. I'm only making these jokes ironically. Let me know if I'm being too alloying. Now that I've ruined all the goodwill between me and the viewers, let's get back to the scripted bits. So the salaryman begins sprouting metal all over his body and seeing weird amalgamations everywhere he goes into metal as the metal fetishist seeks him out. The concept itself is pretty odd, right? A metal lover cursing the world's most average man with insane metallic properties. Well, the execution is even weirder. We get all sorts of body horror bits, including a metal rod being inserted into a soon-to-be maggot-infested leg, a sequence with a snake-like strap-on, a phallus turning into a functional drill, someone killing themselves upon said drill, stop-motion, transformation and fight scenes, and more. The result feels unreal, off-kilter, but it's also undeniably cool. Clocking in at around an hour, this is a surprisingly accessible weirdo masterpiece. Plus, it has a verifiably insane industrial soundtrack. This is the movie to show your loved ones to test really how much they love you. Good luck out there. Weirder and weirder and weirder every day. I love movies and I love that people keep making odd ones. There's no better discovery than an excellent, abnormal, abhorrent horror. So what'd you think of the list? Weird enough for you? What are some of the weirdest flicks that should have made the cut? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more otherworldly ones from top 5 scariest SCP creatures that managed to escape. Keegan Tabermina says Keegan is a dumb name. You're telling me. You wanna trade? Harry Abigar says, Mr. Keegan, your mustache is already on the loose. We're trying to capture it, but oh boy, it's hard to capture. We already lost 100 men because of this. I'm sorry about the personnel loss, but if you do contain it, let me know. I've been missing it lately. That fool says, this dude always looks like he can't put down SCP-420. The bottle of mutation whiskey? The one that makes your skin fall off and sprouts teeth all over your body? Apparently I gotta get more sleep. Maybe hit the gym some more. And did you mean something else? Alanomi says, hey Megan, can you do an English accent? Canadians don't sound scary, lol. Love the channel. Who's Megan? Who are you talking to? Also, Canadians don't need to sound scary. We are scary. Too many winters up north will do that to you. And Yahweh says, mimetic kill agent in effect. There we go. Good luck to everyone still watching. A Foundation agent will be with you shortly. And that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.